The Lord add His blessings to the reading. St. Luke 19. And Jesus entered and passed through Jericho. Behold, there was a man named Zaccheaus.
This is the story of Zaccheaus. He was a tax collector and a successful businessman who lived in the city of Jericho.
Hey, Zaccheaus! Is your restaurant open later?
Sure is for you.
He owned a restaurant
All right, I'll be
and was
there
well
tonight.
known among the
Great.
people of the
I'll
city.
see you there.
His life was full, and his days were busy with many responsibilities. Everything seemed to be in order. He had a wife named Rebecca. She cared deeply for him and knew there was something missing in his life.
You know, his wife Rebecca, she was a believer, and she was interested in her husband, who had a business in Jericho, and he belonged to many societies of that day, no doubt. And Rebecca had got acquainted with a prophet named Jesus of Nazareth, who they claimed to be the Son of God.
Rebecca was fully convinced. She knew he was true to the Word of God, and she believed him. She wanted her husband to meet Jesus and see that he was the prophet. After hearing Jesus was coming to town, she decided to pray all night.
Must have been an awful bad night. The little fellow hadn't slept at all. He just rolled and tossed around all night.
Something was troubling Zaccheaus. He had heard this Jesus of Nazareth was going to be in town. Not only that, but he was going to be eating at his competitor's restaurant. This kind of thing didn't normally bother him, but this night he couldn't rest, and he didn't know why. The more he tried to forget about it, the more it stayed on his mind, until finally, he knew what he had to do.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go down there to the gate where he comes in, and when he comes in that gate, I'm going to give him a piece of my mind.
The next morning, although he had hardly slept at all, Zaccheaus rose early and prepared himself for the day by putting on his finest robe. His mind was made up, and he was determined to see Jesus.
He slipped down, he looked back up the house and see if there was anybody looking, and it seemed like nobody was looking, but Rebecca was watching through the crack of the window, seeing what he did. And instead of turning down towards his restaurant, he went down towards Straight Street. And when he got down to the gate where Jesus was supposed to come in, you know, the Bible said he was kind of short in stature. And when he got there, some of those great big people were standing there, and he couldn't even get a place to get up to see him.
But Zaccheaus wasn't about to give up now, so he hurried ahead, looking for another way, until he came to a sycamore tree.
Here's a sycamore tree standing here. So I believe I'll just get up in this sycamore tree, and then I'll be able to see him and get a good look at him when he passes by.
But there was just one problem. The first branch was too high for him to reach. So Zaccheaus looked around, searching for anything that might help him climb. And that's when he saw it, a garbage can sitting nearby.
He said if I could get a hold of that can, I could reach up and get a hold of the limb.
But the garbage hadn't been collected yet. The can was full and far too difficult to drag over the bumpy road.
So he reaches down and gets a hold of this garbage can, and here he comes. Just about the time he got it hooked up in his arms good, his competitors come around the corner, 2 or 3 of them. Said, well, look at Zaccheaus. He has changed his position. He works for the city now.
The moment was humiliating for Zaccheaus, but he was determined to see Jesus for himself. So he held on, carried the can to the tree, and began to climb.
And here he is sitting up there now in the tree, wiping the garbage off of his new garment, picking the splinters out of his knees and hands where he climbed the tree.
And there he sat, hidden among the leaves, watching and waiting. Then, before too long, he began to hear something.
He heard the noise. He raised up, he said, well, that must be them holy rollers coming.
As the crowd came around the corner, Zaccheaus leaned out from the branches, straining to see who was coming.
And when Zaccheaus, our little businessman of Jericho, when he got the first look at Jesus, he looked different from any man he'd ever seen.
As Zaccheaus looked on, a family came carrying a child who was very sick, asking Jesus to help. And even though others tried to stop them, Jesus stopped and said, "Bring the baby here."
When they brought the baby there, and his little body steaming, so hot, pulled back the covers, places his fingers up on it, the mother standing there with her pretty Jewish eyes, the tears streaking down her cheeks, and the father standing there with his hands in the air, believing. And he lays his finger over on the baby, and the fever left. The little fellow jumped out of the mother's arms and went on down the street. Zaccheaus changed his mind. There must be something real about this man.
In that moment, everything changed for Zaccheaus. What he had doubted before, he could no longer deny.
Now we notice, as he started going on, walking down the street, Zaccheaus raises his leap a little higher. He wants to get a real good look at him as he passes.
As the crowd began to move in his direction, he drew back into the leaves.
Now he's all covered over, camouflaged real good. And after a while, as raised like this, look, Jesus is coming right beneath him.
Zaccheaus held his breath, daring not to move as Jesus passed beneath the tree. And then, something happened.
Just as he passed by, Jesus stopped, looked up. And Zaccheaus, make haste. Come down out of the tree. I'm going home with you for dinner today.
Zaccheaus could not believe his ears. How could this be? He moved down the tree in haste, yet in wonder.
Zaccheaus come down in a penitent attitude. He said, Lord, if I have cheated any man, I'll pay it back. I'll take my money, I'll give to the poor. See, he had already found that pearl of great price.
Rebecca's prayers had been answered that day. The one she had longed for her husbands to meet now sat at their table. And from that day on, their life was never the same.